Well, good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Rogue Valley. We're going to do a song that we did last week because we kind of want to show the Rev what we can do. So we combined aerobics and church service here. So we're going to do Rise and Shine, and when we sing Rise and Shine, we're going to go, Rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. So I'm going to tell you when you stand up and do that, and then you're going to sit down after the first time.
Watch Laura, and she'll lead you in all
And
this.
then after that, once you're up, you're up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... Rise and shine, it's a new day, a different path, a different way. Bring your dreams of work and play. Rise and shine, journey to your destiny through endless possibility. You cannot fail, your heart is free. Rise and shine, here we go, everybody. Rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. You get to sit down now. Here we go. It's a new day. Don't forget to stand up. Rise and shine. There's a new way. You can stay standing. This is just rise and shine. Your inner light illuminates your path so bright. The rainbow's end is in your sight. Rise and shine. Rise and shine. It's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. Yeah. Rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. Thank you.
I wondered what Laura was doing standing up there. What a sweet surprise. You know, I've been contemplating after sabbatical, why do we come to church? You know, why are we here? Didn't realize we were here for aerobics, too. Spiritual aerobics. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kimberly Hawkins, Senior Minister, Spiritual Director here at Center for Spiritual Living, Rogue Valley, and partnership with Unity of Medford. And it's so good to see you. It's so good to be back. It's so good to welcome each and every one of you. We always like to say we welcome you no matter where you may happen to be on your own personal spiritual journey. I'm not seeing anybody new in the audience. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Not today. Not today. Okay. A reminder to please put your cell phones on airplane mode or turn them off. We are truly an inclusive and progressive spiritual community, teaching tools to transform both our personal lives and the world. I want to recognize a few people. Reverend Stephanie Clark will be doing our invocation and reading. And practitioner Nancy Clay is sitting in the back holding high watch this morning. Our video crew is Corey Rennick and Shannon Schnibbe and Tom Rennick on sound. Our incredible musicians who made a very tricky journey from Mount Shasta in the snow this morning, Anton Miserak and Laura Berryhill. And so I'm going to invite us at this point to take a collective deep breath as our musicians prepare us for our invocation and reading.
we're going to do a little song in Scottish Gaelic, so you won't necessarily know the translation, but know that it's about traveling to a beautiful place to meet people like you, beautiful people, kindly and generous, where a place where you regain your strength, a place where you know love and contentment. Oh, good taloo, hey, good taloo, staloo muish nam bianarta, cheer nan look. Balacher fura, choshin waram doch laun rana. Hira hech anula huisht, not der turish elavata. Jevu yachliaun aduya, skjavus bienechan adlancher. O Gertalum, hey Gertalum, Stalum Uishnam Bianarta, Chirnan Luch, Balacher Fudel, Choshin Yuram Dochlan Rana, Yevudun Nam Baile Fili, Skiu Fieva. Etar polachar esiachar chalichlin erachisala. O Gertalum, e Gertalum, stalum uishnam bianarte, chirnan luch, balachet foral, choshin yuram dochlan rana.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that Reverend Kimberly is back. Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! So please join me for our opening prayer. Let's taking a breath together now. And letting it all go. And deliberately, consciously moving our attention away from whatever's been happening outside of this space, outside of this moment of now. We're turning aside from the past, including the last few seconds, and bringing our attention fully and completely into this now moment. All there is now. This moment has never been before, it shall never come again. We are dwelling together completely and fully in the present and in the presence of the divine. The divine power and presence is everywhere present. It's all-knowing, all-powerful. And I am its beloved creation, and so too is everyone in this sanctuary this morning, and everyone within the sound of my voice on the live stream. We are the divine made manifest in human form. We are an incarnation of the infinite. And I know that we have been joined together this morning by right of consciousness in order to know more deeply who we truly are as divine beings, who we truly are as beings of infinite potential. And so I speak the word for our service, knowing that the Spirit has most definitely gone ahead to prepare the way for each one here. Everything has been perfectly prepared. The musicians and the music, the audiovisual team, the refreshments team, the greeters, the ushers. everybody has been prepared to fulfill their sacred role as stewards of this sacred space and as beings of light in the great light. I bless my dear sister, Reverend Kimberly, as she steps forth with a message this morning that opens hearts, opens minds, expands consciousness, reveals the kingdom of heaven on earth, reveals the truth that sets each one of us here free. I know she too has been prepared to deliver this message, and it is delivered with ease and grace and joy and perfection. So I do give thanks for everything that is unfolding here in this sacred space this morning. I give thanks for the shift in consciousness that each one is undergoing, for the dynamic transformation that is taking place, so that we leave here different from the way that we were when we walked in. We leave here with a greater awareness of who we truly are. So knowing that the work has already been done, I do give thanks, and I release it into law, and I allow it to be, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. I'm now going to light the peace candle. And I'm blessing the person who put the matches here, ready? Whoever that was. I brought my own matches as backup this morning. What does that tell you? The light is not going out here today. Whoa! All right. So let's do our prayer for peace. So lighting the peace candle, we have symbolically agreed here that who we are is peace on earth, in every thought, word, and deed. We are the place where peace gets to be expressed, where peace gets to be recognized by those around us. We are the place where peace is established, anchored, rooted, and made manifest. For this I'm grateful. Amen. Okay, so the reading I prepared this morning is by our founder, Ernest Holmes, and it comes from the book called This Thing Called You. Can I see who's read that one? Oh, about half of you. Fantastic. All right. So you exist, that divine feeling, fire, imagination, and creativity may be expressed through you. The Spirit comes to you with a new and fresh creativity. You need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. Be yourself and express life as you find it. Never imitate. Trust the self. Find the self in God and God in the self. Thought has a cumulative power. If you daily say to yourself that your word uproots and casts out every thought of fear or uncertainty, it will surely do so. When thoughts of fear or discouragement assail you, turn to them quietly and say the following. So I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes and listen to this and say it with me in your own mind. You're saying these words to the thoughts of fear and discouragement that might assail you. You have no place in me. There is nothing in me that can entertain thoughts of negation or doubt. I refuse to admit them. I know that my word casts out fear and doubt. It converts fear into faith. I know there is nothing in the universe that wishes me ill. There are no negative forces operating in, around, or through me. There is but one mind, which is my mind. This true mind within me has never received an image of doubt. The God mind within me entertains only that which is perfect. Thank you. You can open your eyes if you want to. There is a pattern of perfection at the center of your being which has never been touched by disease or misfortune. Your intellect senses this through intuition. Your imagination feels it by divine right. Your inward consciousness knows it through faith. What you are trying to do is to awaken your whole being to spiritual awareness. Thank you very much.
We're going to do a song by a friend of ours, and we're doing it for 3 reasons. First, it's about journeying. It's called Keep On Walking, and our Reverend just came back from a wonderful journey. Second, it's by Jamie Lula, who will be doing a concert here on the 24th of this month. And third, Jamie and Laura and I are the music for an Asilomar gathering this summer, July 16th through 21st. So, 3 reasons for this wonderful piece. Keep on walking. Hopefully it will inspire you.
Come to Jamie's concert. He's so dynamic. And whatever we do here, if you like it, you will like his version 3 times better. It's his song. Walk a mile or a minute in another man's shoes. He's got a path to take to find his truth. Any way you spin it, he's a lot like you, finding his faith on roads that you'd never choose. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go of the old condition. Let love be your only vision always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Tell the tale you're in it. Hear a brother man's blues. Got a destination now and no excuse. Why do you condemn it when it's not your own? You can't unsee it once the light has shone. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go the old condition. Let love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Don't let it cloud your vision. Let love be your only mission always. Let go the old condition. Let love be your only mission always. Don't let it cloud your vision. Let love be your only mission always. Let go the old condition. Let love be your only mission always. Keep on walking.
Keep on walking.
Keep on walking. Keep on walking.
Oh, my. Thank you so much. Absolutely lovely. And thank you, Rev. Stephanie, for your beautiful prayer. Oh, my. Ah, wow. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I got to admit, I didn't want to leave beautiful Loreto, Mexico. I didn't want to leave. But when I walked in here this morning, I got teary-eyed because I feel like I'm home. And I'm grateful to be here. So, as most of you know, I have been on a month-long sabbatical. I spent the first part of it, if you follow me on Facebook, you already know this, but with my family in Arizona, my son and his family. I may have shared with you before that I typically go to visit them at Thanksgiving time. And November also happens to be the birth month of my oldest grandchild, Virginia, who turned 6 this November. And her younger sister, Cecilia, said to her dad this fall, Daddy, my son, right? How come Grandma always is here for Virginia's birthday, but never for mine? So if any of you are grandparents, you know that right then and there I knew. I had to be there in early February. So it's wonderful to be there for her 5th birthday party in the jumping castle. And oh my gosh, it was wonderful. They just moved into a new home, and on my way back, stopped to see them. They got a new puppy, so all is new and well. From there, I flew to Loreto, Mexico, on the Baja Peninsula, on the Sea of Cortez, about 2/3 the way down toward Cabo, where my sister Kristen and her wife Deborah have a condo, and where they have been spending the entire winter. They're now both retired. And it was an amazing, amazing, amazing stay. My beloved Eric joined me for a good part of the rest of the month. And so I'm going to talk about my experiences and how I'm changed because of all that. I'm going to show you a little video in a moment. I want to acknowledge that while I was away, I hope I can remember everybody, they installed our monitor here. So now we have the capability of putting lyrics up again and all of that. So it was Corey Rennick, Jason Rummel, Ben Rummel, Ginny and Alan, and am I missing somebody? Anyway, I just so appreciate that happened. And I also appreciate that there was a beautiful core of leaders that nurtured and held down the fort, if you will. That's kind of a bad metaphor, but you know, we were in great hands. This community is not about me. You know, I'm a part of it, but so are each of you. And we had Rev. Steph as a guest speaker, Reverend Linda Rapond, Reverend Bonnie Anderson, and the preacher chicks from Eugene. And we had a minister each week on duty in our community cares team, so all went beautifully. And it was so reassuring to know that I could go away and have a rest like that and not have a care, that everything was as it should. And Rev. Michelle was here as well, even though she's moved on to another role, and it was awesome. So I wanted to talk just briefly about the word sabbatical. It comes from the same root as the word Sabbath. It comes from the Greek word sabbaton, which derives from a Hebrew word, Shabbat, which means rest. And so, of course, the Sabbath is typically a day of rest, the 7th day, every 7 days, a day to spend in the presence and being aware of our God selves and our connection with the divine. Whereas a sabbatical happens usually every 7 years. It's typically done in academia for professors and for ministers. And it has different, shall we say, reasons. Sometimes it's viewed as a time to study or to have personal growth or to travel. For me, mostly it was about rest. And I must say that by my letter of call, the contract a minister signs, I was due for sabbatical last January. But if you remember what was going on last January, we were just coming back from just broadcasting live and not meeting in person. We were negotiating with Unity and moving into this beautiful space and leaving our office space, and it was not a good time to be away. And then Rev. Michelle came on in March as co-spiritual director. So Now, I can't say that this past month was the most ideal time for me to leave either, because Rev Michelle had just started her new job. But I had made my travel plans, and I'm very grateful to our incredible board and practitioners who supported me, and Rev Michelle, who said, no, you're going. You're going. And it all worked out. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all who came, supported the community, and especially to our board and our practitioners. So, sabbatical. Oh my goodness. I gotta say, it was very different than what I expected. So this word rest was big in my mind. I mean, that was kind of my purpose. But I also thought I would meditate a lot, like an hour every day and an hour every night, and really sink more deeply into my formal spiritual practices. I would continue my Course in Miracles study online. None of that happened. None of it. None of it. I mean, I didn't meditate, I don't think one day formally, okay? I'm going to tell you more about it later. I couldn't even continue the Course in Miracles the last week because I had spotty internet service. There's no way I could download a video. It didn't happen. I didn't even pray much. I prayed occasionally, but I'm used to praying every single day. But what I did do was amazing. I walked and walked and walked through this beautiful village of Loretto Bay. You'll see pictures if you're on my Facebook page. I combed the beach for seashells and collected shells and collected driftwood. I had 4 whale watching trips on little 25-foot pangas where we saw 100 feet blue whales and humpback whales and orcas. We went over to the Pacific side again, like I did 5 years ago, if you remember the video I had then, where we not only saw mama gray whales and their baby calves, but played with them. They became more comfortable and kept coming closer to the boat till the point where they'd raise their heads because they were curious to look at us. And once again, I got to touch the baby gray whale. I mean, talk about a religious experience, right? I'm going to show you a video in a moment, not of the grays, of the blues. What else did I do? I ate a lot, didn't worry about it. Delicious fresh food. I was telling somebody we ordered a tostada con camarones, which is with shrimp at this palapa when Eric got there the first day, and the shrimp was piled up like this. $5 for our lunch. I drank margaritas, and I discovered that margaritas in Mexico are not the same as margaritas in this country. They're very dangerous. I had time with family, my sister and Deborah. I got to speak a little Spanish and some French because there's a bistro there, and I met some people, and it was just, and more than anything, rose almost every day before sunrise to catch the sunrise. How many of you saw the pictures of my sunrises on Facebook? OMG. Maybe I should put some on our page. Unbelievable. So I couldn't wait to get up and walk to the edge of the ocean and watch, and every day was different, of course. I think the biggest influence on me was once again to be immersed in the Mexican culture, where people are first, tasks are not. Where every person you pass in Loretto, every person, whether it's a worker, a resident, a visitor, you say hello. So hola, with a smile, hola. Or if it was two, obviously non-Mexican people, good morning, whatever. Where people, when you go into a shop or you're transacting any business, the first thing you always say is, ¿Cómo está? And you have a brief conversation. And it's not like here, where very often, I don't know about you, but I feel like what we say, hi, how are you? It's kind of like the same thing. It's not really, tell me how you are. And in Mexico, it's, I see you, how are you? Tell me, how's the family? I was in culture shock once again coming back to the Phoenix airport. I used to live in Phoenix, and it's so busy now, and of course everyone's short-staffed, and there were no smiles when I went through security. There was none of this, hi, and I missed that. So the hola, when we passed somebody, reminded me of when I visited the Buddhist monastery near Mount Shasta, and every time you're in that monastery, when you pass someone, you say, namaste, and that's what it felt like for me. It felt like, I see you, I honor you, I'm glad to see you. So amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful time. I learned how to hand-toss tortillas from a woman who spoke no English. I took, I don't know, somewhere upwards of 1,500 photos, of course, right? I'm still sorting through them. Immersed in the beauty of that environment. You know, in Loretto, there are mountains in the back and the sea here, and a beautiful, colorful village, all kinds of, it's not stucco just off-white, you know, it's turquoise and pink and coral and just gorgeous. So and the pelicans, oh yeah, the pelicans. Do you ever look at a pelican? I mean, they're funny looking, you know, but there's something just so appealing. And when they dive for food, I got a picture of one. They come like this and they're looking. They must have good eyesight, and they go, choom, right like that. Absolutely perpendicular. I just love the pelicans. One more thing. There was a lady in Loretto Village, Anne, who has hummingbird feeders outside her home. And she welcomes people to come and hold small hummingbird feeders. She takes the big ones down. And the hummers come. And they feed 6 of them at a time at one point, and they sit on your hand. And every so often while it's feeding, it looks up into your face and then back down. And Anne said they recognize faces. So they're very comfortable with her. It was amazing. So this connection between tiny hummingbirds and giant whales and all of the beauty was so invigorating. You know, usually we post a quote when we choose a talk title, and this week I chose a Spanish proverb, and I probably won't say it exactly right, so forgive me if you speak Spanish, but it goes something like this: Vive cada minuto y ríe cada día. Live every moment and laugh every day. And you know what? I did. I felt guilty after a week or so. No, not because I was happy, but I felt guilty because I wasn't meditating. I wasn't doing formally. I wasn't doing what I promised myself I would do. And then I got over it because I realized I was meditating constantly with the hummers, with the whales, with the sunset. I was feeling this oneness and this connection, and it was magnificent. I was truly in church all month. I was in church, appreciating God's beauty in people, in the landscape, in the sea, in the creatures. So on the Pacific side, when we go out, I mentioned we saw all types of whales. On the, that, when a blue comes up, it makes a tremendous noise on its exhale. Psh! Sometimes you hear them before you see them. And to have them come up right near the boat, it's just stunning, right? And I got thinking about that and that huge exhale. Like a great model of what we might do is just like Reverend Stephanie prayed, let go. Let go of what even happened 5 minutes ago. Just let it be. So on the Pacific side, how many of you have ever done a whale watching trip? Do you remember how, I don't know, there's something about seeing the whale's tail, right? That you want to see the whale's tail. So when whales sound, they come up and they take several breaths, and then they take their final sound and dive deep, and that's when oftentimes you'll see the tail. And every time I've gone whale watching over the years, whether it was in California or Mexico, tail, 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 tail. Everybody on the boat's going tail, 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 tail. There's something about it. I thought, what is it? Why are we so excited about the tail? And I'm not sure. If you have thoughts, you might share them with me later, but I think part of it is, especially with a blue whale, you never see the whole creature. It's too huge. I'm in a 25-foot panga. That whale is about 100 feet long, and Pancho, our skipper, claims he's seen them as long as 130 feet. So when they sound and the tail comes up, it's just a recognizable, that is really a whale. Wow. And there's symbolism related to the whale's tail because if you can picture it, there are 2 lobes of the fluke that join in the center. And so it's a unity. It's a symbol of unity. And I think also, and I noticed when I walked in this morning, the name Unity in our church, Unity. The whale, I think, is also a symbol of unity between the sea and the land. The largest sea animal and perhaps not the largest, but certainly the most powerful, in command at least, human animal on land, and there's some kind of connection there. So in a moment, I'm going to show you a 20-second video. What happened on this second trip, the first trip, my camera battery died. You can imagine how happy I was about that. So when we actually saw the whales, I couldn't take any pictures. I was reliant on other people who did quite a good job. So this second trip, I was careful to preserve the battery. I realized that it's easier to take video and catch the whale than it is a photo because they're too quick. So I was prepared, that the battery was charged, I was prepared, I was focused on the whale, the seas were calm, everything was in place. And I caught this whale. You're going to see it in a moment. However, a boatmate next to me, who shall remain unnamed, but I love her, expressed her enthusiasm about the whale in a way that affected my video. So, Shannon, can you run the videotape here with sound? It's not really tape, is it? It's whatever. It's not really tape, is it? It's whatever. Thanks, Shannon. Oh my gosh. So I'm looking through the viewfinder going, oh no. She was just so excited, like, yes, you know. And what happened after that, of course I told her what happened and she felt bad. But we ended up watching that video while we were aboard again and again and again. And because of the tremendous attachment of, wow, you know, everybody thought it was hysterical. And we laughed. That was the hardest laugh of the whole trip. We got so much entertainment out of that. So my talk title today was Tale, T-A-L-E, of the Tail, T-A-I-L. And I think what I took from that is, let's not stay attached to outcome. Just like I was forced not to stay attached to how I thought the sabbatical was going to be practiced, just like I had to remain unattached to my video. In a way, that's a precious video, right? I mean, it's, yeah, and to trust that good always emerges. You know, there's that saying, God always manages a happy ending, and if it's not happy, it's not the ending. To trust that even when things don't go the way we expect or that we hoped or that we prayed, there's always divine order. There's always a gift, even in the unexpected thing that we did not want. So thank you for watching that with me. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, life is not just something to be endured. It is to be lived in joy, in a fullness without limit. And I think for me, that was one of the biggest lessons that I brought back from Loreto. I can be so serious and feel the weight of the world and wanting good things for the community and for me, and to just let go and to trust and to enjoy and be in the moment. It's really how we're meant to be. So I'm intending to hang on to that feeling of flow and letting things be. And then there's the whole thing about nature. There's something so healing, and we all know this. I love many quotes by John Muir, but I found one that I wanted to share with you. He said, keep close to nature's heart. Wash your spirit clean. It did wash my spirit clean. He also said, I care to live only to entice people to look at nature's loveliness. So back to this idea of rest for all of us. That little word rest that starts with R-E, if we plan to do that and follow through and make sure that it's in our schedule to take time out, rest becomes all these other RE words: restore, refresh, rejuvenate, reinvigorate, right? All of those things. And it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. So the lessons that I took back from Loretto, I would say, are very simple. They're not grandiose. Slow down and be in the moment. 2, notice and drink in the beauty that surrounds you. It always does, whether it's people or animals. I'm bringing home a rescue kitty. I brought home a rescue kitty. She looks like a Maine Coon, and I named her Lucita, Little Light. And 3, allow life to unfold as it will, appreciating each outcome, even if it's not what you planned, knowing God or Spirit always leads us, each of us, to our highest and best good. Always true. So I'm thinking about this idea of sabbatical, and we can't always take a full sabbatical. Sometimes they're a month long, sometimes they're in academia, sometimes a semester or a year long. But we can all take, what's one of the 10 Commandments? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. I don't believe Sabbath has to be Saturday or Sunday, as the Jews and Christians have decided. I believe it can be whatever works for you. I don't believe it has to be a whole day, although I recommend that. It can be an hour. It can be a half a day. And it can look like so many different things. I think there are infinite possibilities of how to practice that rest, that letting go of responsibility. One author recommended establishing a Sabbath box. And as you begin your Sabbath hour or your Sabbath day, you place in the box the things you want to let go of and not use. It might be your computer. It might be issues you're dealing with that you just want to take a break from. And so you write them down and put them in the box, knowing you can pick them out when you finish. So Sabbath can look like a nap, a walk, right? I read somewhere about sloth yoga, where you stay in bed in the morning. Don't get up. Don't put on your clothes. Stay in your PJs for a half a day or a whole day. It can look like playfully preparing a meal with friends. So many infinite possibilities, and then infinitely grand results in terms of peace and restoration and that feeling of connection and knowing who we are, that feeling of oneness. Yeah, I had a list here. I just want to check and see. There's also a beautiful book if you're interested in exploring and establishing a stronger Sabbath practice. Wayne Muller wrote a book called Sabbath: Finding Rest, Renewal, and Delight in Our Busy Lives. Oh, here's another one, and some of you, I bet, already do this. One author talked about guerrilla compassion as part of a Sabbath practice. So you bless silently every person you see during the day, whether it's people in line at the bank, the supermarket, in cars, in traffic next to you. Each blessing, she says, is a tiny Sabbath. And you might just say, may you be happy. May you be at peace. Lighting candles is awesome. I think in the Jewish tradition on Shabbat, 2 candles. One for freedom, Nancy Clay, if you're listening and not praying so hard. What's the second one for? The 2 Shabbat candles. I think one's freedom is one piece? I think so, yeah. Creating an altar, giving gratitude. So many ideas. So one more thing I want to talk about before closing is, I know a lot of us in this community are retired, so it's a whole new thing, and yet not. I mean, some people I know who are retired are busier and sometimes more stressed than people in the work world, right? Because it's kind of our nature. And, you know, we tend to think that being busy is honorable, and it can be if it's balanced, you know. I think in this culture we tend to think about people who have a lot of money and no time as being rich, and people who have a lot of time, an abundance of time, but very little or no money as being poor. And that's really not the truth of it, is it? You know that beautiful story? I've probably shared it with you before, but I was reminded again because it was really taking place in the environment I was in, about the Mexican village where a fisherman went out every day, and this American businessman who was visiting his village saw him one morning with some yellowfin tuna in his boat. And he started asking him questions like, how many fish did you catch? How long did it take you? Bada, bada, bada. And he goes, you could be doing a lot better. You could be buying another boat and fishing all day, because he was fishing half a day. And once you made all that money, you could buy another boat and on and on and on until you have a fleet, and then you have a franchise, and then you move to New York and LA, and you're rich. And the Mexican man kept asking, and then what, and then what, and then what, and then you sell your stock and you're a millionaire, and then what? And the guy says, instead of selling your catch to a middleman, and finally it was, you would retire, move to a small coastal fishing village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, stroll to the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play your guitar with your amigos. And the man goes, that's what I'm doing. Yes, truly. Truly. So the day before Eric left, I woke up with a dream. And it was one of those powerful dreams where my idea for the talk came. And in the dream, I was meeting with a group of interfaith leaders, and we were brainstorming on what kind of rituals would be meaningful to offer in a church service. And I began to question, why do we come to church? What is it we can offer that will feed our souls in the deepest way? And I know the music is a big part of it. It's equally, if not more important than the message, because it connects us with our souls so fast, so deep. And we're so blessed to have the wonderful music team we have. But what is it, we can do? I started to contemplate that. And I'm losing my train of thought here. To feel the connection with God, I think, is the biggest thing. So I think spiritual community, just like being in nature and taking a Sabbath, is about feeling that connection with each other, supporting each other to see the spiritual truth of who we are. We say that a lot. And to feel in our soul that peace of God, that everything is all right, that everything is unfolding as it should. To let go of the worry, let go of the strain, let go of the have-tos, let go of the needing to be perfect, because it already is perfect. Yeah. My Course in Miracles lesson for this morning, because I'm back on track now, is my holiness envelops everything I see. And to me, what that means is when I'm in touch with my own holiness, the fact that I am, as Rev Stephanie so beautifully prayed, that I am this unique way God shows up. And that's true for each of us. And we are holy, we are sacred, we are the divine in the flesh. When I'm in touch with my holiness, I see through that lens. The other phrase from the Course of Miracles I love is, the Christ vision looks through my eyes. And when I'm in that place where I know my holiness, I see it in everyone I see, and everything I see. And I forgive and I drop judgment. That beautiful prayer you read, I would like to include that in the meditation. I'd like to include that in our newsletter this week. So I think that's it. It's knowing oneness. So I'm going to end with a couple quotes, again from our founder of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes. Again, to frame this in terms of what I was feeling when I sat with the hummers on my hand, or I touched the gray whale, or I greeted a stranger who smiled at me and said, "Hola, ¿cómo está?" Holmes wrote, "There is one body and one spirit. The entire creation is this body, the body of God. One life behind all lives, one, never two. The unity of all life. To learn this is to know a secret of the ages." And one more quote, which speaks to me about if we can really drink this in and embody it, the power it has to change everything. Holmes wrote, "The furtherance of evolution depends upon our ability to sense a unity with nature and all her forces. When the knowledge of this unity comes alike to all, the tread of armies will cease, and the bugle call will echo the soft notes of brotherly love." And I would add sisterly love, creature love, love of all that is. Let's go into prayer. My heart is so full of the beauty that surrounds us always. Everything we see, everything we touch, everything we experience is the divine. It's one. It can't be separate. Just as the two lobes of that whale tail come to be one, so everything in the visible, manifest universe is connected. We cannot be separate from our Creator. We cannot be separate from one another. That power, that presence, that creative force, whatever we call it, God, infinite love, pure peace, absolute creativity, is everywhere. All powerful, all knowing, knowing us deeply and wanting to create each of us so that it might know itself in a grander, deeper way. Unconditional love. And it wants nothing more than that for us, to know we are loved and to love all that is, to trust. I can't be separate. I can't be separate from God, from that whale, from that hummingbird, from you. We can't be separate from each other. And when we truly know that, wow, that's why we come to church, isn't it? That's a big reason we come to church, to know that, to experience that, to receive that, and to give it. When I look through the eyes of that Christ vision, I see only love, I see only me. I forgive anything that feels like a transgression, because I know that the essence of who I am cannot be hurt or diminished in any way. I am the light of the world, as each of us sitting here is. Just like that match that wouldn't go out when Reverend Stephanie tried to blow it out. We are that light. So my prayer, my friends, for us is that we remember that, we remind each other of that, and that we do take the time from the busyness to connect with one another, even if it's a store clerk who's harried and we take the time to appreciate them. Even if it's a big to-do list that sits in front of us and we know that we're tired and we need to rest, we need to have a drink of water, we need to lie down, we need to just take a Sabbath moment to be restored, renewed, refreshed, revitalized, rejuvenated. May I keep this feeling I have right now, and may I invite each of you to experience this. We all have the choice to remember the Sabbath and to keep it holy. In gratitude for all of this, for my amazing experience, for our beautiful community who absolutely thrived without me here, for everybody who serves, and gratitude for knowing that this presence is alive and well throughout all that's going on across our planet. It is a power of good, and we can each use it, and it can use us. I just release this prayer knowing it's heard, it's answered, it is done, and we say together, and so it is. Hola and namaste, my friends.
Well, this will be a song appropriately that I wrote while walking in a nature preserve. Starlight filters through the dream time, sending its brilliance to the world. So many questions in the meantime, forgetting all the games. Where to turn to go now? Who will hold your hand? Who will trust your perfect dreaming heart? Birds flying home and the water flowing swiftly. Where are they going in the twilight? It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see. Can you see your face in the mirror of the angels? They whisper back the secrets of our lives. It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see. Take a deep breath into the wonder of your loving, precious soul. Can you feel it? The beauty of each day you walk this earth refines that wonder into gold. It's the answer to our prayers, the mystery unspoken, the song sung unbroken and free, the elemental fire, the path beyond desire, the grace that lifts us higher till we see, till we see, till we see, till we see.
How very perfect, Laura and Anton. It's time now for our giving of our tithes and offering. I'm going to invite our ushers to come forward. If you're watching online, you have a chance to make a contribution as well, either on our website, www.cslroguevalley.org, or on Facebook. There are envelopes you can give to Unity, you can give to CSL Rogue Valley. And just a thank you for your continued support. From the bottom of my heart and the heart of our board, I know. Thank you. If you would say our affirmation after me, please. Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. And so it is.
Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into, multiply and send it back to you. Press down, good measure, shaken together and running over. Press down, good measure, shaken together and running over. Press down, shaken together and running over. Press down, good measure, shaken together and running over. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation. The universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Multiply it, send it back to you. Multiply it, send it back to you.
Thank you once again, Anton and Laura. A few announcements before we break, and a big thank you to Michael Sunday once again and Greg Stewart for offering our snacks in there. Tomorrow, men's group meets at 1 o'clock here at Unity, 540 North Holly, and Rev Steph's going to come up because I want you to know a little more about this concert with Jamie Lula, one of my all-time favorite New Thought musicians. It's going to be awesome. Steph, come on up, Rev Steph. It happens Friday, March 24th. Tell us more. Yes, you do. I can give you that, I think. Or do you want to just leave it there, or do you want to hold on? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I got
So
it. Wait.
what was the last line of that song? Keep on giving.
The universe you give into
We'll multiply it and send it back to you.
The universe you give into will multiply and send it back to you. Remember that. So March 24th, Jamie Lula is coming here, and that is such a privilege that he's coming to Medford. He lives in LA. He's a big-time singer at Agape, where I did my studies, and led by Reverend Michael Beckwith. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have him here in our space. And the tickets cost only $25. Only $25 for one ticket. So if you keep on giving, it comes back to you. And I want you to consider that this $25 is a small amount to receive what you will receive from being in Jamie's presence. And that seemingly small amount will go to support Jamie to keep giving his gift in the world, and it will go to support CSL Rogue Valley as well, to keep giving this gift into the world, to expand the message out into the world. So $25 can go a long way in terms of spreading truth around the planet. So consider that. Through music and through the word. The other piece is that for this event, we're going to need lots of volunteers. And volunteering is another way to give your gift. So some of you have been in classes, some of you come every Sunday regularly, you hear the message, you get filled up by the message, and now it's time to give it away. And that's when you get the full benefit, when you take what you've learned and you give it away in service. So there are lots of volunteer positions here, and whether you volunteered before, whether you haven't, whether you feel like you don't have any skills, it doesn't matter. There's something here for you to do if you're feeling called. So right now, marketing is the key thing. We want to spread the word. We have 80 seats in the sanctuary. I want them all filled on Friday the 24th of March. And I was told that we can even overflow into the fellowship hall, so I'm going for 100 seats.
All right.
So if you are willing to join with me in that intention, say, Amen, sister.
Amen, sister.
Thank you. Thank you. 100 seats. I want them filled. So we're wanting people to help on the marketing team, and Shannon Schnibber is heading that up with Kathy Green, who's the president of the board. So let's spread the word together. So if you've got a Facebook page, you're willing to spread the word, let's do that. Kathy, is it okay if people come up to you after the service to ask how they can help with the marketing? Great. Okay, thank you. So can you just wave your hand so people can see where you are? Thank you. All right. Shannon's here too. Shannon's at the back working on the audiovisual. Thank you. The other thing that we need right away is sponsors. So if anyone here has a business and is willing to sponsor the event and have the exposure, the advertising on our flyers, on our programs, all of that, please also come and see me afterwards. And we've got lots of positions to fill on the night itself. So tickets at the door, greeting, ushering, refreshments, all kinds of things that you could do that don't require special skills, just your presence and your love and your service. So come to see me afterwards if you'd like to volunteer, and I'll find out from you what you would like to do. See Kathy or Shannon if you want to assist with marketing. And also another opportunity, we've been advertising at the church for volunteers with marketing and with the audiovisual team on a Sunday. They do our live stream for us. So this would be a perfect opportunity to get your feet wet. If you're interested in either marketing or the audiovisual, maybe this concert is your platform to get started with learning that craft and being able to be of service to your community. So when's the concert? How much is a ticket? Okay, will you be there? Okay, good. Thank you very much. I'll see you afterwards. Thank you. Yes, so thank you, Kim. So the concert starts at 7 o'clock, but we're opening the doors at 6:30. So be here at 6:30 to show your tickets. And the tickets are available now on the website. So go to the website and you'll see the pay and donate button in the top right corner, and then you go to events and you can pay for your ticket there. So let's get the ball rolling. Who's willing to buy their ticket today? All right, thank you. Yay, that's fantastic. All right, fantastic. Thanks for letting me share.
And thank you to Rev Stephanie, who has agreed to help with fundraising. This is a big fundraiser for us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah, so tickets will also be available, if they're still available, here at service on March 12th and 19th. But I'm envisioning this is going to be a sellout, Rev Stephanie. So. A reminder, you can sign up for our newsletter if you're not getting it in the social hall. A reminder that our prayer box is in the back of the sanctuary. Please leave a prayer request, and our whole ecclesiastical team will pray for you or someone you request prayer for the entire week. And I'm going to invite all our practitioners to come up front. They are available for a quick prayer after service. And I am going to use a benediction that my sister, Reverend Kristen, used to use because it's very appropriate. And I don't know if I have it exactly right, but it goes like this. So practitioners, come on up before our closing song. And this is the benediction. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, life is in my affairs. I accept it, I allow it, I trust it, just the way it appears, and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life, and so it is.
A song by a friend of ours, Donna Michael.
Let's stand for our closing song. Thank you.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine.